And we're happy to have Tanya Lubner, PhD and Director of Professional Certification and Training at WQA, joining us for the podcast. Tanya, welcome. Thanks for joining us, and always good to have you as a guest on the show.
It's great to be here, Wes. Thank you.
We wanted to talk about what's been going on in your department. I understand we have some new training options at WQA for those involved in education and training, and I think this is really going to be something. So I'd like for you to kind of tell us what's going on.
I'm really looking forward to this. I'm very excited about this new option that's coming on board. Uh, we are bringing on instructor-led training for our installer program. And we've had an online self-paced training program for a number of years now. But what we've heard from our people going through this program is that one of the stumbling blocks is that it's really hard with the self-paced programs to actually keep yourself on track. And not only that, but installers really learn best by doing the kind of reading followed by quizzes is okay for some, but it's not the best way that they learn. So we are launching a 16-week training program that is going to take them through the content. It's going to allow for some discussion. They'll be able to learn from the instructors. They'll be able to learn from each other. And because this is scheduled 1 hour a week, online presentation, interactive presentation, we really do expect that they'll be able to stay on track. They'll be able to get through the program. And especially for the new installers, our goal here was, as one of our members put it, make them profitable within the first 6 months. So that's what we're trying to do. And we're also, with this program, we have really refocused it on what's necessary for installation. We're taking advantage of this trend in the education industry with stackable credentials, where instead of tossing everything at once at the learner, you really do take them stepwise. So we are very much focusing on everything that's needed for installation, to make sure that it's to code, to make sure that it's done safely, to make sure that the products are installed correctly. And then once that is done, and the learner goes on and passes, hopefully, the certified installer exam, then if their job role requires that they also understand better about which treatment technologies should be used when, more about the sizing of those technologies, well, then we have our next step up. That's part of our Certified Water Specialist program. So there is that great progression that if someone starts in one position, they can continue to learn, they can continue to expand their responsibilities and their interests on the job, and as well as their profitability and their ability to better serve their customers.
So you mentioned 16 weeks or so, roughly 4 months. How will it work? What's going to happen?
We are running 2 sessions. The student will log on to a Zoom call for an hour a week. Plus, there's going to be a requirement for about an hour a week of homework. And a lot of the homework is going to be field practice. There are some e-learning activities that we'll have for them that will essentially complement what they're learning in class. 16 weeks of these 1 hour classes. If they're on the East Coast, we have a class that starts at 8 a.m. Eastern, and that would be great for the Central time zone as well, because that will catch them at 7 a.m. And if they're on the West Coast or in the Mountain time zone, so that class is going to be running on Thursdays. I should mention that the East Coast class runs Tuesdays. So the West Coast class starts at 8 o'clock Mountain in the morning, which is 7 o'clock Pacific. And this way we're catching the installers before they go out into the field, because we found that trying to catch them in the evening, it's really hard. You work a full day, and at that point, you just want to collapse somewhere.
So I imagine then this is everybody's getting on a Zoom call or something similar to that, and then watching an instructor. Will they be? Will there be interactivity, if you will? Will they be asked to do things during the program, or is it pretty much lecture based?
The instructors are building in some discussions. So they have some specific questions they're going to ask the students. There's going to be follow up on some of the homework assignments, allow some time for discussion, as well as questions from the students, anything they might be seeing in the field. That they're not sure about or they want to talk about. And from what I'm seeing from the registrations right now, we're going to have a range of experiences, which will be great because the really brand new people don't always know which questions to ask. So having the more experienced people as part of the class will, I think, contribute to that discussion. It will also help the instructors pinpoint some of those problem areas better.
Some of our members companies are quite small, others are quite large. If there is more than one person from a company that wants to participate, can they?
Absolutely. Everybody does need to have their own registration. And I think it's also helpful when you have multiple people in the company going through the same course, they can discuss things among themselves also and see how some of the concepts, some of the information presented in the course relates to their particular company.
All right. Let's fast forward. We've done this now for 16 weeks. We finished up. The instructor has bid us adieu. What happens then?
The next thing up is the certification exam. So we are requiring a minimum of 6 months field experience to be eligible for the exam. So once they finish the 16 weeks, they've finished all their homework. They've got roughly 2 months to review, to study, and get ready for that exam. And once they become certified, they get a nice patch that they can proudly wear on their uniforms, and something that they can point to and their company can point to when talking to customers to demonstrate that the company really does make the effort to make sure that they're putting knowledgeable people out to serve their customers.
So I imagine the biggest benefit is compressing the time it takes in order for someone to go through all of the curricula and then be prepared for the test. Is that right? Or are there other benefits
That
as well?
is that is definitely an advantage. That compression, the fact that you know that next week you've got to be in class, you have to be participating in discussion, you have to have had the homework done. So that helps to keep you on track. I think from a manager's perspective, it also helps to know how much of your people's time you need to be able to free up. Um, it gives them a much more definite target. And the other thing with these instructor led classes and really with the updated curriculum, again, is we've very much refocused on what's needed for the installation. Our previous curriculum for certified installer had additional content built in that we had a task force, member task force, review that and come back and say, that's great for the next level up. But that first installer level, it's really it's not necessary, and it can be discouraging, in fact, to some learners where they're just getting so much information tossed at them all at once. So I think this is a much more streamlined, much more manageable way to get the training.
Will there be an opportunity for someone who can't make all of the sessions live to watch a recording?
To an extent. So we are going to be recording the presentations. If you happen to miss one or two, you can catch up by watching the recordings. But because of the interaction involved, because our goal is also to just make sure people stay on track, if someone is going to miss more than 2 sessions, they're not going to be allowed to continue. They'll have to come back around for the next session and pick it up from there.
All right. And if somebody wants to find out more about this and get signed up, maybe somebody else as well at their company, what can they do?
We have a lot of information on our website as well as how to sign up. That is wqa.org/installer training. And you can also get that information by going to the main professional certification site, which is wqa.org/profcert.
All right. I do want to, in the remaining couple of minutes we have for the program today, Tanya, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about just in general, what else is happening at WQA training and professional certification?
Well, in addition to reworking the installer curriculum, we are now working also on the certified water specialist curriculum. As I mentioned, among the stumbling blocks for getting people through the training has been the fact that that it's hard to stay on track when you're working full time. But the other concept that we've been trying for the last several years is this idea of having an in-house mentor that can help guide you through and review your in-field work. We really feel that the in-field experience is critical for certification. In fact, if you look at really just about any certification, on-the-job experience and practice is very much required. So we're definitely in line there, but the problem we ran into is with the mentoring. What tends to happen in companies is a brand new person is partnered with someone more experienced. They're sent on ride-alongs, and they're supposed to kind of pick up training from that perspective. But the most experienced person is not necessarily the best trainer. They may not also have time to really explain the material because they're very much focused on getting their work done. So we are working on building in instructor-led training for the Certified Water Specialist pathway, as well as reworking those mentoring requirements so that we can find an alternative. And that might be building up the e-learning, which has automatic responses to the student, but also building in some monthly discussion groups where it will accomplish what the mentoring was supposed to accomplish by allowing people to interact with more experienced personnel. But it will do so without really hampering down both the learner and other people within the company. So very exciting things coming this year.
And convention is not too far away. In fact, it's coming up April 6th through the 8th in Orlando. So we're excited about that. Can you give us a preview of some of the education sessions?
Yeah, the sessions are starting to really shape up. It's looking good. We are starting the technical education with our commercial reverse osmosis sizing workshop. And that one is a perennial favorite. I'm excited to be able to offer it in person again. We're doing that Tuesday afternoon of convention week. And then Wednesday, we've got a number of different topics on the program. We're going to look at media for treatment of contaminants. PFAS is definitely in the news, so it's part of our training as well. And some government affairs updates. It's really nice, well-rounded program. Plus, there's all the business sessions as well that another team is working on, and those are looking really good.
And by attending, of course, you collect more CPDs, continuing professional development credits, correct?
Yes, certified personnel can gather credits for the technical sessions, any of the ethics-related sessions for our program. And then a lot of states that have licensing requirements for whether it's a plumbing license or a specialty license for water treatment, they will accept our courses for continuing education as well.
Awesome. So for you interested in WQA convention, go to wqa.org/convention. That's where you can find out more and get signed up. I should also mention we have boot camp on that first day, Tuesday of convention week, same day as the RO sizing workshop. So you do have to choose for that day, one or the other. but we're looking forward to boot camp as well. And that I think will be year number 4 for the WQA Business Boot Camp. So very, very exciting. All right, Tanya, thank you for joining us again. Let's get the contact information for folks wanting to learn more about professional certification.
Sure. So there are a couple of addresses I'm going to give you. If you are looking for that installer training, instructor-led installer training, that is wqa.org/installer training. If you are looking for general information on professional certification, wqa.org/profcert. And then any questions you may have, you can also direct to us via email at education@wqa.org.
Dr. Tanya Lubner, thank you so much for joining us on WQA Radio.
Thanks, Wes.